The EU-UN partnership on peacekeeping is one of the most long-standing partnerships that the European Action Service has, External Action Service has. It's been ongoing since we first launched our mission operation in 2003. There was the first statement between the EU and the UN, and since then this has developed through other statements and now more specific joint priorities that we established together with the UN and then work to implement. We have also set up a UN-EU steering committee where the principals of the Department of Peace Operations on the UN side and the department on our side is the Department for Security and Defense Policy. The Deputy and Undersecretary Generals, they meet twice a year to discuss operational challenges that are proving difficult to solve in the field and also horizontal issues and the general strategic direction. There's been over 24 of these steering committees, and we have the next actually in New York next week. So it shows that it's a very close cooperation. We also see that our two constituencies, so the member states on both sides, are increasingly taking this partnership into account as a serious partnership where on the one hand the UN is addressing the EU member states in our established governance bodies in Brussels. So we have a political and security committee where UN principals are often coming to talk about peacekeeping challenges, gaps and so on. And similarly, increasingly, we can see that also UN principals are called into briefings that the Secretary General and other principals have to the Security Council in preparation for mandate renewals and these type of things. So on a political level, it's very established, and it is of course based on a strong, solid operational cooperation as well between our missions and operations in the field. Out of our 16 common security and defense policy missions and operations, 11 are deployed in the same theater with the United Nations, and there we work very close together on anything from operational support, so it can be sharing a camp, providing each other with transportation, medical role 1 and 2 and so forth, but it's also strategic communication or more joint messaging really. And working together on SSR in different complementary, clearly established roles. In some places it's more structured, in others it's less. And there are of course many areas where you can improve things, but we are in general moving towards progress constantly, I would say. There are new priorities for 2019 to 21, so it's 3 years, and there are 8 of them. 3 of them are new, and those are women, peace and security, which is the #1 priority, conflict prevention and support to political solutions, in mission settings, that's important to emphasize, and also transitions. In addition to those, we have priorities that we've seen before, which is facilitating EU member states' support to UN peacekeeping operations and the Action for a Peacekeeping Initiative, policing, rule of law and SSR, so security sector reform. We have training and capacity building, which is of course why we're here today. Support to and cooperation with African peace support operations. So first we have the political level, which I mentioned quite substantially already. Then we of course have the next level down, which is where staff to staff talk all the time, and we have frequent interactions on that level. Then we also have the operational level, which is where actually the issues really happen in the field. And then across we have horizontal cooperation on more strategic issues, on overarching policy development and so forth. So the Action for Peacekeeping Initiative, all 28 EU member states endorsed the shared declaration, and the EU has expressed its support. This is what we can do in terms of our competency. This means that we are very clearly expressing support for the UN Secretary Generals in all forums that are given to us. We think that what he's doing is critical, and we are also trying to, where we can, work in support of that through our actions. And that's why within the priorities it's mentioned that something that we would do in the sense that we provide a fora for the UN to address the member states on what the needs are for the Secretary General to implement the Action for Peacekeeping Initiative.